Hello, I am Dr. Narayan Sharma, Assistant Professor at Department of Environmental Biology and Wildlife Sciences, Cotton University. I am working in this department for the last 8 years, and in fact in 2016 we started a master's program in this department, and this is the first of its kind of a department that start a very unique course called Environmental Biology and Wildlife Sciences, and because all of you know that this particular region is the biodiversity hotspot, and also there are lots of environmental problems that we need to take care of. So motivation behind pursuing journey in wildlife sciences is that I always like life forms and always love biology. So even in my school time and in my higher secondary times, I loved biology much more than other subjects. But it's not like that I didn't like other subjects. I do like other subjects, but biology was my kind of a favorite one. So then when there was a choice of going for say chemistry or say physics or say other so-called mainstream subject and so-called royal subject. So I thought I'll go into geology as my major subject, and then I start developing my interest in ecology, behavior, and the evolution biology, and I did my graduation in that subject, and I enrolled for a master's program at Guwahati University. The sole purpose was to learn biology as a whole, but learn wildlife science in particular. So I did that, and I also did my specialization in animal ecology and wildlife sciences in Guwahati University, where actually I start developing my deeper interest in observing nature, observing species, understanding patterns and the processes that are there in the nature. And after that I joined for a PhD program in National Institute of Advanced Studies in Bangalore, where I for my PhD thesis I worked on primates of Upper Brahmaputra Valley. So I looked at the behavioral ecology of primates in several fragmented forests in that region, and also look at the conservation of this very threatened group of animals in that region. And after that, so my interest is always working on primates, but I also diversified, and for my postdoc I looked at the elephants of Karnataka, basically looking at the conservation planning, so where are they distributed. And when I joined Cotton University, and then I started diversifying my interest more. So I start observing birds in particular, then also because birds are everywhere, and so does the trees. So I also watch trees now, and I also say with my students we observe butterflies, we observe the spiders, we observe many other life forms which are there in our campus and beyond the campus as well. And the motivation is that this is a lifelong actually bonding with the wildlife. It's a lifelong love for the subject, and I think it's just the ongoing journey that I'm on. So this course that we run here, it's called the Environmental and Wildlife Sciences. So it caters the need for say environmental science, which is mostly related to say climate change, environmental pollutions. Then there is a wildlife sciences where students will get exposed to say various ideas about the ecological organization, so conservation biology, and also we looked very deeper into the ecology and society. For example, there are a lot of these factors which are driven particular species or particular habitat to sort of degradations are anthropogenic in nature. So we looked at the human side of conservation and ecology as well. And my colleagues, they are working on say, so for example, the pollution level in say soil, in water and in air, and there are other faculties who are also looking at the climate change, right? Because climate change is going to be, it's already a very major factor that's affecting not only the animals or the wildlife but also human. So they are also working on that kind of a subject. So collectively, I think the students get a like kind of a advantage of studying the environmental science as well as the wildlife science. So that's why I said this is a very unique course, because if you go to some other institute or some other part of the country where you either get an environmental science, MSc in environmental science, or say MSc in say wildlife sciences. But this is the course where we integrate both of these subjects, and it's like a complete package for students who really wanted to explore the concept of these both subjects. So I think I'll not go into the environmental science because most of the universities has Department of Environmental Sciences, but there are, I'll not say the handful, but there are many institutions that are offering now masters in say wildlife sciences, but very few undergraduate courses in wildlife sciences. Perhaps I don't remember any or institute that offers say undergraduate course in say wildlife sciences. Most of the wildlife courses are are in the postgraduate level. For example, there is a Wildlife Institute of India who offers masters in wildlife sciences. Then there is a Center for Biological Sciences which is in Bangalore. They offer masters in the conservation science. And then there is organizations like a transdisciplinary university and ETRI jointly offer masters in conservation action, right? And then there are say all the ICERs and NICERs. So you can, if somebody wanted to go enroll for a biology, they can explore the opportunity in those institutions as well. So then there is a SECON, there is a Pondicherry University. So Cotton, I already told you, in Northeast there is a Guwahati University that offers masters in wildlife sciences, and then there are the Pondicherry, there if you are interested in say marine biology, right? So there is a masters in marine biology as well, and there are a lot of institutions in Maharashtra also. They offer courses in biodiversity, MSc in biodiversity and MSc in conservation sciences. So I think if you just search some of these courses, some of these universities, you'll definitely get to know about the number of different organizations or institutions that are offering courses in wildlife sciences. So as you say, this wildlife science, I personally think it's a truly multidisciplinary subject where one not only studies about say biology of a species or say ecology of a habitat, but I think we are also exploring say new techniques, new tools, you know. For example, there are new technology like say artificial intelligence. So we extensively use artificial intelligence. For example, you may have heard about the camera trapping work, right? So camera trapping yield like huge numbers of images. So it is not humanly possible to process those images, you know. So where artificial intelligence with the deep learning that comes into pictures, and this is really helping. Say for example, when there is a tiger census happen throughout India, right? There it generate like thousands and thousands of pictures. So it is not humanly possible to go through each pictures and identify the pattern, you know, because tiger has a very distinct pattern. So if there are two images that is the same pattern, then that image belong to the same tiger. So so this is where the artificial intelligence with deep learning come very handy, and that actually help us so identify the very unique number of individuals. Similarly, there is a genomics. So for example, the conservation genetics is a very evolving subject. So that is not only helping us identify say, for example, settling some of the dispute. So, for example, there is a hula gibbon, there is a western hula gibbon which is found in northeast India, and then there were reports of eastern hula gibbon. For a long time, scientists started saying that there are western hula gibbon and there are eastern hula gibbon in northeast India. But when we did the genetic analysis, and the scientists found that actually what we are calling as a eastern hula gibbon is actually the subspecies of the western hula gibbon. So, there is genetically they were very similar. So, that is why whether it is a eastern hula gibbon or the western hula gibbon, that dispute has been settled. Similarly, there are a lot of new technology. For example, you must have heard about Amur falcon, right? Amur falcon is a migratory bird that has a stopover in Nagaland and Manipur, and after the brief stopover here, then they go to South Africa. The scientists started putting satellite tags on them, and now we know exactly the routes through which they go to say South Africa, and we are getting very invaluable information about the entire route that they take with the help of the GPS. So, these are the few examples where actually technology helps us understand nature in much more deeper way. For example, we wanted to know whether the tiger of Kaziranga, whether they move from say Kaziranga and go to say Orang, right? So, then there are this genetic techniques, and there are that will tell you that a tiger is with the tiger which was found in Kaziranga perhaps is the same tiger which is found in the Orang National Park, right? So, that kind of a work has been done in central India, but they found that tiger can almost go to 650 kilometer. So, that kind of a distance they are covering, right? And I'm sure the distance between Kaziranga and the Orang is not that much. So, I think we are getting very new insights of say tiger biology, where tigers are going. Similarly, if you can radio collar some of the elephants, so we will get to know, so where are the elephants which are spending much of their time, right? And we can also say, if you know the movement of elephants, so we can inform a priori that okay, elephant is moving towards a particular village, so we can do some sort of a early warning system. So, we can tell the villagers to be little alert, and the forest department can go and perhaps chase them away to the other non-human habitats. So, these are the new technological interventions that are being used in understanding nature, and also in preventing some of the very difficult conflict situations such as human-wildlife conflict. So, as a non-mainstream subject, wildlife science still struggles. So, so this is primarily driven by the passion, the passion for wildlife, passion to do something for non-human species. And also particularly if you look at the environmental science, there are you can directly relate with the say human health and the human aspect, but wildlife sciences, I think it's a little bit still not becoming the mainstream subject. But there are huge potential for someone who are doing say wildlife sciences, and I will also talk about some of the challenges, some of the shortcomings of these courses. For example, if you are really interested, you can choose a career for say wildlife biology. You can go for a higher educations, higher degrees. For example, you can go for PhDs. There are a lot of PhD options available in India as well as the abroad also. Then if you are if you can build that kind of a say profile of say doing very good research throughout that PhD period, and beyond, if you do a postdoc, then you will be absorbed in some of these highly reputed institutions like ICER, right? NICER, for example. Then there is the Indian Institute of Science. Then there is a National Center for Biological Sciences. Many universities have openings for say assistant professor in wildlife sciences. So that is one part. So that is the particular the academic part. So where you can go to some of the established institute, and then simultaneously you can also go to immediately after your masters. You can go and start working with some of the NGOs, because NGOs are non-governmental organizations who are working with wildlife related issues. Keep looking for the young and energetic and dynamic students, and though not paid like as per with the IT sector, but they are also paying pretty much nice salaries or nice stipends or fellowships to do work there. So NGO sector is one sector where you can explore, and third is the wildlife photography, for example, right? Wildlife photography is a very lucrative career options, right? So because if you can take this as one of the serious career options, so there are a lot of avenues for doing the best in the wildlife photography. And say for example, then there are options for going for a forestry examinations. So there are, you can go for the forest services. So you can go for the Indian Forest Services. Then you can also go for say state forest services. There will be a lot of openings for rangers, assistant conservator of forest. So you can apply there and you can be a wildlife manager and manage some of these protected areas if you get into those positions. So and then if you learn say GIS, for example, you can be a GIS analyst, right? Because GIS, GPS, all this and the remote sensing, these are the technology that are being used very frequently in many places. So I think if you can develop that skill of say analyzing images, doing some of the GIS work, I'm sure you will be able to absorb in the reputed institutions. Then one of the very least explored area is the naturalist. For example, if some foreigners comes from say abroad and they wanted to understand the biodiversity of say Assam. So we are in dearth of the good naturalist who can take and who can not only talk about the plants, not only talk about say large mammals, but talk about the history of these places, you know, or say for example the cultural and the natural heritage of this area. So if we can develop one program which probably we will be doing in Cotton in next couple of years, where we can train the students or the participants of not only the cultural heritage of the area, but also the natural heritage of this area. So I think that could be a very useful place where they can be absorbed in say there are these huge resorts, they can hire them, or they can start their own independent nature guides kind of a thing, you know, and they pay very handsomely. So if I know that there is a very nice ecotourism model in Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary, when where the naturalists which are local naturalists take tourists and earn very handsomely there. So I think that kind of these are not a very well explored area that I think, because since Northeast India is so rich in biodiversity and wildlife, and I think we need people from this region who can talk about the biodiversity and the cultural diversity and the ethnic diversity of this region. So if we can explore that area, I think we can have a very nice cadre of very learned naturalists. So these are few opportunities that I can say. Then you can also be consultant, you can work as a freelancing if you have enough ideas. You can also do journalism, for example, wildlife journalism. There are very few people who opt for a wildlife journalism. So there are so many news which are there in say in Northeast India. So we need to also highlight the potential of this area and also highlight the fragility of this area. So we need like that kind of a journalist, and there are very good avenues like there is something called the mongabay.com. So where you can write, and you can also there may be some of the commissioned article where you can get very handsome amount of money. So I think these are the different kind of opportunity that I think we can explore, and students, if they are motivated, I'm sure they will be able to find different avenues, not only to sustain but flourish in this field. If you want to be part of this wildlife conservation like a team, there are many organizations which are working in Northeast India. So one very important organization is called the Green Hub, I think, which is located in Tezpur. So they are documenting different wildlife stories throughout Northeast India, and what they are doing is that they are giving fellowship to the students. So you do not have to be academically brilliant one, but just the passion to work for some conservation issues or conservation stories. And there is a very nice interview process that you can go through, and all these documentaries, if you produce it, then become a repository of the stories that are being showcasing from the Northeast India. And then there are organizations like Wildlife Trust of India, where they hire ecologists, biologists. Perhaps if you have a penchant for writing, I think you can also write the content for their website. You can develop some of the reports. So these are very important skills that you need to hone if you really want to thrive in this and flourish in this field. And then there are WWF India. Then there are our local NGO Aranyak, which are doing wonderful work in Northeast India, primarily in creating awareness, and also doing some of the wonderful research here. And these are the places I think you can go. Then the Balipara foundations, which are working mostly in the biodiversity in the eastern Himalayas, not only working in Northeast India, but also in adjoining countries like Bhutan, Bangladesh and Nepal. So I think once you do this, there are a lot of opportunities that you need to do. And my suggestion is that do not aim for a very, very high paid job immediately after the masters, right? So this is a very slow process where you assimilate a lot of knowledge, and also I think do not look at what kind of the salary package you are getting. The more experienced you are in this field, the more time you spend in the field, the better you will be as a candidate for any kind of a job, And in order to get, say for example, some of this opportunity, there is a website called YETI, YETI, YETI. So if you can just search in the internet, YETI. So YETI stands for Young Ecologists Talk and Interact. So there is a mailing list there. So if somebody posted it, so it will go to say more than 15,000 subscribers. So I personally subscribe to that mailing list, where I keep getting a lot of information about the opportunities, some of the talks, workshops which are happening in India. So and I also then encourage my student to subscribe for that, so that they get a lot of information through them. So if you are looking for some of the places where you want to say get information about the opportunities, this Yeti mailing list is the best place to go. And then there is something called the Bird Alliance. So if you are a bird enthusiast, and if you really wanted to know all about birds, please go to this website, Bird Alliance, and you can regularly visit those sites for getting updates. So so these are the places where it's also kind of that there are this kind of places where there are PhD options, where they are looking for some of the candidates. So if you have, say for example, wanted to work on say GIS, right? So then there are regular postings on those websites, so that will give you an idea. Okay, I need to go to that place because they are looking for the GIS analyst. Then there are fellowships, there are internships opportunities that they regularly broadcast through the mailing list, and I encourage you to subscribe to that mailing list to get regular updates. So my message to all of you who are into who are thinking of pursuing your career in wildlife sciences is that so do not expect things to be done very quickly. So everything takes time. So does the wildlife sciences. So here I think your USB will be how familiar you are with say biodiversity. For example, how much you know about say some of the birds, some of the plants, some of the say insects, some of the large mammals that you see everywhere. So the very important skill that you need to hone is the observational skill. Okay. Second is the analytical skill. For example, asking good questions, right? If you can ask good questions, that can lead to say a good research. So if you are thinking of pursuing your career in the wildlife research, I think you should really think about asking good questions, and asking good questions will stem from observation. So I think I really encourage all of you to do a very deep observations and asking questions. And third most important is the writings, because most of the time what I found in my students and also in others who are working in wildlife sciences is the lack of the writing skills. You know, they know so many things, they know so many, they have so many stories, but because they are not able to write it properly in the form of a say popular article or in the form of more scientific articles, so their observations, their findings are remaining with themselves only. Okay, so that's why I encourage you to write more. Okay, learn more, read more. You know, the more you read, the more you understand. And what I really wanted, perhaps after 10 or 20 years from now onward, is a people who are from this region who are discovering species, not someone coming from say US or say Australia or some other places and coming and showing us, hey, we have say particular frog here in your backyard. So I think what we need is kind of a citizen science kind of a movement, you know, where everybody are looking, everybody are observing what is happening in their backyard or in their localities, and documenting this rich biodiversity in the form of say there are sites like eBird or say India Biodiversity Portal. Please record all those observations there, and you may stumble on some of the very new species. So that's a kind of a casual observations. But I think for a research students, if you are doing undergraduate in zoology or any other subject, please have a very focused say idea about the local biodiversity. Built from there, then you can explore this region. And I'm telling you, this region still is the biological frontier. We are still getting new species from this region, and that's why it's our duty, the students of this region's duty, to say document this rich biodiversity, because this is our heritage. So I think we are the custodian of this heritage. So nobody will come and save this rich heritage. So we need to understand, and we need to actually urge to protect, and we need to having some of the ownership of this rich natural heritage. So this is my humble request to all who are thinking of doing their masters in wildlife sciences or wanted to pursue their career in wildlife sciences. So this particular initiative, Advancing Northeast NetFees initiative, is a wonderful initiative. When I went through the website also, I found that there are a lot of things that there were a lot of gaps. So I think what they are doing is a wonderful work of filling those gaps. You know, for example, some of the students might wanted to go for a job or wanted seeking careers in some of the subjects which are not the mainstream subjects. So I'm really glad that they are giving these opportunities, so that we can share that there is a subject which is as vibrant as any other, say, royal subject like the physics, chemistry, or say mathematics, and which has a tremendous potential. I think more than anything else, there is a tremendous potential for the Northeast India. So I really appreciate this initiative of the NETFI to create to fill that gap and giving students multiple scopes from which they can choose their career in the future. Thank you.